And tonight, two daycare workers on the Northern Neck are facing charges of child neglect after a 5-month-old died under their supervision.
The King George Sheriff's Office says it happened back in February at the CNA daycare.
John Hood has been looking into this newly released documents about the incident. And John, what have you learned?
Yeah, Makia, according to an inspection completed just days after this incident, the baby was swaddled and then left on his stomach for more than 3 hours before anyone checked in on him. By that time, he was no longer breathing and later died at the hospital.
He was just a perfect little sweet baby, he was just starting to really laugh and, kind of move around more and just really growing into himself.
Casey Hamlet says her son Max was just beginning to show a personality when he died at the CNA daycare in King George County. Hamlet says she can remember February 21st vividly as just a normal day until her phone began ringing that afternoon.
I got a phone call from the daycare owner who said, "You need to get here right now. It's an emergency." I said, "What happened?" And she said, "Max isn't breathing."
Hamlet says she rushed over to the daycare to see CPR being performed on her son. He was later taken to the hospital where he died. Hamlet says for weeks she was left wondering what happened to Max until she learned charges were being filed against 2 of the daycare workers.
So at that point, I knew that something bad had happened, or something that warranted them being charged with that. They wouldn't tell me what, so I still had no idea why.
Toward the end of May, Hamlet says the medical examiner ruled Max's death as complications from COVID.
It was just kind of surprising that he could go from being perfectly fine, no distress breathing, not even any congestion, to just that causing him to pass away.
Almost a month later, the 2 daycare workers had their preliminary hearing in court, where evidence was presented for child neglect.
And that's when we learned that he was swaddled, placed on his stomach, had 2 blankets on him, and then was left alone and not checked on for over 3 hours.
According to a Department of Social Services report, an inspection done following Max's death found the daycare to have more than 20 violations, including failure to ensure a child's care, protection, and guidance. Another violation states the center failed to ensure children under 10 years of age are always within actual sight of supervision staff.
To me, ruthless, heinous activity comes to mind when I think of not checking on an infant for 3 hours, or abusing a kid that can't help himself and can't come home and tell his mom and dad.
As the child care center remains in operation, Max's parents say they just want other parents to know their story so it does not happen again.
And all parents deserve to have the right to know it's their kid, what happened to their kid, and the actions that they can do to press charges as well.
Kurt McKee, the infant care portion of the daycare has been suspended following this incident. The sheriff's office says more charges are pending. On your side, John Hood, NBC 12 News.
Okay, John, thanks.